Hello and welcome again. This is our lesson 5, and today we will tackle initial measurement. We are continuing with our series of property, plant, and equipment, IPSAS 45. And I said the lesson is about initial measurement. What can we consider when measuring initially? For example, when you are building a house or a building, the cost that we will include as initial measurement is the cost of construction. And any cost that is directly attributable to building that house to its present location and use. So when we talk about for machinery, for example, it will be purchase price plus non-refundable import duties plus any other directly attributable cost. And then you subtract any discount, rebates, and then if it is a machine and you are taking it to somewhere, you are taking it to somewhere and you have taken to that location, to its present location and condition for the machine to be operable. So what will happen is if you have installed that machine somewhere, the cost of this estimate of the cost of dismantling that machine when it reaches its useful life, you also include as part of initial measurement or initial recognition because once you are done with it, you want to dismantle. So the dismantling cost you estimate and also include that and it will form part of the element of cost. So those three, the purchase price, directly attributable cost, and the cost of estimates of removing that asset from or uninstalling that asset is what forms of our initial costing. What can we say directly attributable cost? Suppose you have employees and those employees are building that machine or building that house for you. So those employees, if their specific job is to construct that, then it forms part of your direct cost. Site preparation, any cost related to site preparation, initial delivery and handling costs, installation and assembly cost, all those form part of the initial or directly attributable cost. Cost of testing, whether the asset is functioning properly or not. Professional fees that is related to that asset also form part of directly attributable cost. There are some items which do not form directly attributable cost. They cannot be related. So if you incur costs when the machine is capable of operating, then those we can say are not directly attributable costs. Any initial operating losses. For example, you have incurred losses before the asset peaks or as you build up the customer base and everything. So those cannot be considered as part of the directly attributable cost. You are relocating an asset from one area to another, from this head office region to another place. Those cannot also form part of the directly attributable cost. So I have an example here. So I want us to discuss this example. This is a practical example. And the question reads, the county government of Nakuru undertakes a project. The county government of Nakuru undertakes a project to build and equip a new community library. The following costs are incurred in Kenya shillings. So there is this purchase price of land for Kenya shillings 5 million. And then construction materials and contractor fees 15 million. Architecture fees for building design 1.2. Cost of public land ceremony to open the library 300,000. Cost to train the new librarians on the cataloging system 150,000. A fleet of new computers and servers were donated by the local tech company. The fair value at the date of donation was Kenya shillings 800,000. Installation and setup cost for the new computers and servers, Kenya shillings 50,000. Salary of the county administrative cost for the period during the construction, 400,000. So let us handle this one by one. So the first thing, land purchase. Will it form part of initial cost? Yes. This one will form part of our initial cost. So it's a big thing. The next one, construction materials and contractor fees. Will it form part of our initial recognition? 15 million, yes. Then Architect fees for building design, yes, it is directly attributable. Cost. Cost of public lunch ceremony, no, that is not something that's adding value, and therefore it would form part of either the element or what we can say directly attributable cost. Cost to train new librarians, yes, if you're training new librarians for the use of computer and is it forming? No, because librarians, you train them, they live today, or they can go somewhere else. But then the cost of training the employees, what if you employ already trained employees? So those are not what you can call directly attributable cost. And then a fleet of new computers and servers. Yes, this is a new item. So this is even though the class might differ for some of the items here, but it will form part of the initial cost. So the land is a different class, it is the initial cost. For the library, the cost that is related to the library is the initial cost. For the computers, the cost that is, but if you are accounting as one library, as one thing, then it will form part of initial cost. Installation and setup, yes, that's what we say, the cost of which can be attributed directly. And then what else? We can say salary. Salary, if it is bringing the asset to its present condition and location, yes, but here you are told general administrative staff cost. And therefore, it won't form part of the cost. It won't form part of the cost. So what we will do is just basically adding up what I have ticked, and you will get your initial cost. So that is our initial measurement. Thank you for listening. This is the end of our lesson 5, and we will continue with our series. In our next lesson, lesson 6, we will cover subsequent measurement. Thank you for listening and enjoy your day.